Thank you so much for watching Microfighter Monday, episode 42. And hopefully, we have a banger of an episode here for you. And you sit back, listen, enjoy. These are just kind of the best of episode. And this is my top 5. Really hard to get into this category. There's such a mix. Almost every single one. I don't know if any of them. I don't think Lego's made the perfect microfighter quite yet. They've come close with these 5, but not quite. So let's snap into these. Figure out. Let me give you again, starting from the number 5. I'm gonna go with the turbo tank. This is the first microfighter. So right out of the gate, they came out with one of the top microfighters. Look at the wheels. They turn. That's just killer. Playability. This microfighter has probably been in so many fights with kids in their Clone War days. I mean, this one almost brings a tear to my eye for all the Clone Wars fans. It's got some nice flick fire missiles, everything like that. Check out, all of these have individual reviews, so check them out. You get an original clone trooper, which is extremely hard to get, not easy. And so this one coming in at number 5, just a super strong offering. Lego banging it out of the gate. Then this one really pains me because I personally think this is probably the best ship that Lego has done in microfighter form. So coming in at number 4, we have the ARC 170 with Clone Trooper pilot. So the reason I'm putting this number 4 is just purely because we don't really have a named character, and the figure is good, but not like off the charts mind-blowing. I think this, from a ship standpoint, this really gives me a lot of nostalgia thinking back to some of the great classic space ships. This just does this thing a lot of justice. And another one, just like the turbo tank here, has just tons of playability. I'm sure that there was lots of fights and wars. This just looks good from almost every angle. The bottom's okay, nothing super spectacular, but you've got lasers here, flick fire missiles. We've got pink thrust. Everything looks great. The wings are adjustable, which is fantastic. You even have like a fake turret here. And the cockpit is kind of like a 2-story versus sometimes they just kind of slap in one and call it a day. Again, nothing too special, and then the engines, which is historically a huge problem on ships of this type. I think they banged it out with a nice printed tile, and it looks good in through here, which does not always happen. So just a great, solid overall build. And so this one coming in at number 4, the ARC 170. Then this is where it gets really difficult. I think one of the more recent, just amazing ships that has really been done in Lego was the Kylo Ren Shuttle. This thing, in the larger version of this, was just a super banger of a set. I believe it had some of the Kylo Ren, the Knights of Ren. It had Kylo Ren himself, and just looks like a killer model. This one is not perfect. It's a really good model, but I think this is one of the best figures of these 5. And the reason for that, if you go into here, he may not be the most valuable character, but he is one of the most menacing characters out there. So let me bring him closer. Probably, I'm banging into things here. See if we can get him to shine out. That might be a little bit difficult, but there's it had the red markings. I think this is one of the coolest helmets made. I don't think this was shown off enough in the movies about how cool it is with the red markings. I think this, if you are to like be a fan of Kylo Ren, this is kind of the best form of Kylo Ren. And so I think with this shuttle in that figure, it just it looks great. Even from the back, it's just a solid microfighter. I love the fact that Lego just needs to do more of these types, named character, fantastic builds. Again, very playable. That's the name of the game, to get you into the top of the microfighter space. So that is number 3, Kylo Ren's Shuttle. And, for folks that really liked the Last Jedi, I believe, which is the one where he's chasing them in the TIE Silencer, that one was close. But I think the difference was the helmet in the figure itself. So, coming in, there's only 2 more left. This was just excruciating. You may all know what my favorite microfighter of all time is, but one of them really pushed the limits. And I think the only reason it's not the number 1 is because of just, I really have to give an edge to named characters. So, in number 2, coming out, the Republic Gunship, which just got a huge UCS upgrade. I hope everybody's enjoying that build. This isn't necessarily the best microfighter build. It's not perfect. It's a little out of proportion. However, what I like about it is that it's very recognizable. Great colors overall. Really fun. I'm sure, again, just like the Turbo Tank and the ARC 170, tons of kids probably had loads of fun. Probably the only issue, but it's also very positive, is the figure itself is just a banger clone pilot. I mean, that is just amazing. Did not have the correct fin type up there, but honestly, I don't really care. I just think it's a super killer figure. It may be, in terms of unnamed characters, it's easily the best figures that Lego has put out in microfighter form. So that only leaves 1 microfighter left. And, I know it's the most valuable. It's going for the most. It's probably the most in demand. And Rebels just really didn't get enough love. It's one of the best series that an animated that has come out. It really even beats out the Bad Batch. Probably I would put Clone Wars season 7 ahead of it, but outside of that, it's just so fantastic with all of the characters. And Harrison Dula is one of the best characters and very important to the overall story. And spoiler alert, there are some tie-ins into the Bad Batch, which was super awesome. That was, I think, outside of the first episode of Bad Batch, I think that was one of the better reveals that happened. They needed to do more tie-ins. I think the other thing that I really like about this build is that it's a tough ship to build, and they just pulled it off. It just looks like the Ghost. So if you factor in having one of the most in-demand minifigures, plus just doing a really good job at building this, I don't know how else you could really do this. The shaping itself is just a feat all in its own. And then to have that thruster, looks kind of good from all ranges. This is basically microfighter at its finest. And unfortunately, the Millennium Falcon just doesn't hold up to the Ghost. And of course, having a soft spot in my heart for Harrison Dula is kind of what puts this one over the top. So with that, we've got Rebels era. We actually have a sequel set, which is insane. And of course, Clone Wars, which was really popular in series 1 and 2, really knocked it out of the park. I think that kind of speaks to where the future of Lego Microfighters lies. You look at the value and where people really want to buy. They want ships. They want vehicles. They want fun things to play with. So hopefully, with the popularity of Clone Wars, Bad Batch, and maybe we'll see some Mandalorian in the future, that Lego gets it and can knock it out of the park like these 5 microfighters. So thank you again so much for watching. Check out my play list of Microfighter Monday to get any individual reviews. Otherwise, I will catch you on the next video.